So before we finish up this series on yWriter versus Scrivener, I just want to take a quick look at the fiction version of Scrivener, since some of you may want to use that feature instead of the blank feature. So we'll do the same thing we did before, except I'm not going to name it the same thing that I named it before, because before I gave it a title, Pop Goes the Waterbed, and I believe Scrivener will remember that. So instead of calling it Pop Goes the Waterbed, we'll just call this Waterbed, or we'll Pop Goes the Waterbed novel. And that way we at least have a different version. So we'll create it. And then of course, we'll need to wait a minute or two for it to load. So while we're doing that, we'll sing Happy Days. Happy days are here again. Kidding. So once the novel comes up and once we have the format, we'll start to plug in some of our information. So one of the things that's nice about the novel format when you do the storyboarding and all that is it gives you extra research elements and extra templates. So why would you use the novel version over the blank version? Well, the blank version will give you more control, but the novel version will give you more resources. And that's really the main thing you're looking at when you're deciding between the blank and the novel version. So if you wanted to create a character sketch, for example, you could go into this character section here and you have options. What I would do is go into the plus here, but your options are you can do a new text, a new folder, new template, whatever you want to do. Let's say we're going to do new template character sketch. So if I would click on the character sketch, it'll open up the panel here and I can just do a quick overview of what I want. But if I go over and actually click on the character sketch, I'll go into the template and I'll fill it in. Now you'll see that it's blank. So what I would do too is if you wanted to actually have some kind of sketch open, go to the template sheet down here, see where it says character sketch and setting sketch, and actually modify them. So you would input whatever your sketch ends up being in this section and then you can import it back here. Now there are custom sketches out there and I'll show you an example on how to find them in just a moment. But if you decide that you have particular elements that you want to follow, you would certainly want to do that instead. Even when you go into the novel template or nonfiction, when you start your file, you are going to have mostly blank scenes. So you're still going to have to do your own figuring things out. But obviously what you want to do, whatever you end up doing, is have your inspector open. That's something I often forget to do when I start a Scrivener project. So don't be like me and just remember to do responsible things. And you can again explore the inspector as much as you want and see like some of the different options you have in order to make this work. You'll see that you've got new labels to factor into your sketch. The same thing with your setting sketch. You have different things you may decide that you want for this as well. The thing to also remember too is the reason why you would do a novel template over a blank template is if you want to have more control over the actual document or the actual layout. That includes things like front matter. Scrivener is designed to compile appropriately. There's a bit of a learning curve for that, and that's beyond the scope of this video. But if you are adept enough to figure that out, you can certainly use it. But this will give you a sample of some of the different things you can do in order to work accordingly. You'll notice that I don't have any of the templates loaded in, because again, I don't use this very often. But if you did want to have templates out there, you could do that. But these are just some of the options you have based on their format. So once you have the format that you want, my advice is go ahead and plug in the different text that you would use to keep track of your characters, keep track of your scenes and so forth. One of the nice things about having the novel format or whatever format you end up using is that in the inspector you can keep track of everything. So let's say if we go back to the character sketch and I wanted to have my references, I could just put in an internal reference like, let's say, I want the character sketch. I would put that here and then well, actually, I wouldn't do that because that would lead me right back to the page. Let's do the manuscript itself. We'll go to the first scene. If I were to have that there, I think if I click on it, I can, well, we're not sure. But if I decide to go into scene here and I want to check on the tag, I'm sure I'm showing you something that I haven't fully fleshed out. This is why I recommend Joseph Michael's Scrivener lesson or the one on Udemy, whether you're using Mac or Windows, because I can show you so much But clearly, what I'm giving you is an overview of why it's worth looking into. I'm not really showing you how to use this. So what I'm basically, the point I'm trying to make is that you can use Scrivener very flexibly, and if you do understand the inner workings of Scrivener, it's certainly to your advantage to have it. I would say overall the advantage of using Scrivener over yWriter is the flexibility. There's a lot of ways you can use it, and when I show you the various templates here in the next video, you'll see why it's so much better overall. But again, you're paying for Scrivener. For yWriter, it's free, so those are things to figure out. Also, yWriter is very straightforward and very effective, whereas Scrivener, because the learning curve is pretty high, you may find it's a little bit more difficult to get started in Scrivener. But once you figure out how to use it, you may end up liking it more. But you decide what you want to do. As the saying goes, you be you. But I still advocate using all three writing tools, yWriter, Scrivener, and Microsoft Word, to your advantage, because I think you can get a lot of power out of all three combined. So, we're going to go over the templates next, so stay tuned for that, and then I'll have a special announcement after that. So keep watching. Thanks for getting this far. Bye.